Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all our viewers and learners in this special live phone-in session of CIET NCERT named webinar. I am Renu Bhatt with you all and you are watching us live on eVidya channels, channel number 6 to 12. And apart from that, you are watching us live on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official as well. Dear learners and viewers, today is Friday and we are celebrating Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas in collaboration with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham in order to create awareness among you all about cyber safety and security. And the topic that we are going to discuss today in this specific session is very important, that is phishing concept and safety measures. So what do we understand by phishing and how do fraudsters can trap you online and how you can prevent yourself from all these information. To throw more light on this, we have our expert with us. Let's meet them. You are Mrs. Neena Nitin. You are faculty associate from Amrita Center for Cyber Security and Networks, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
And she is providing cyber awareness sessions to CBSE students and already covered more than 1,000 students. And dear learners, we have our another experts. Let's meet him too. You are Mr. Harish R. You are senior research associate from TIFAC Core in Cyber Security, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Very warm welcome, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.
And he is very keen to deliver cyber security to non-technical people, and I have conducted multiple cyber awareness sessions. So dear learners and viewers, if you have any query or you want to ask something more about phishing, what exactly phishing is and how you can prevent yourself from all those fraudsters online, please feel free to contact to us. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800440559. Either you can drop a mail at our email address, that is cybersafety@ciet.nic.in. And in case you have joined us through our live streaming, that means you are on our NCERT official YouTube channel, you have to go to the live chat box and you have to drop your comment out there. Our expert will be happy to answer all your queries and doubts. And if you have any experience that you want to share with us, feel free to share with us. And it's time for us to begin this session without wasting much of our time. Neena ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, good evening everyone. First of all, thank you for your sweet introductions. Okay, let us start with phishing. So, do you know that 91% of the cyber attacks starts with just a phishing emails? 7 to 10 crores of phishing attacks are reporting on a daily basis. That is also due to the lack of knowledge and awareness of the potential risk involved in this kind of crimes. So I would like here to brief you about what is phishing and what are different kinds of phishing techniques. So everybody normally know that what is the meaning of phishing. It's actually snatching the fishes through trapping them. The same way, this concept has also arrived based on the word phishing. Here, instead of fishes, they are targeting humans. Again, it is a form of social engineering attack where the attacker tries to trick victims into giving them their personal information such as login credentials or any other financial information by disguising themselves as a trustworthy entity. So typically they are done this through fraudulent emails or websites that looks legitimate but is actually a scam to Sims. So cyber attacks often used to steal personal information from victims in order to commit some kind of identity theft or any other kind of frauds like financial frauds. So they can use this information for whatever they want. So and one more thing is it is very difficult to trace or defend against, since it does not present itself as a malicious in nature. So nowadays everybody put their personal informations online. So whatever we are putting online is actually at a risk. So phishing is becoming a major threat to every internet user. So when you are when you want to put your personal information on online, you have to think before putting that online, because once you put online means it is very difficult to retrieve those data again. So one of the main reason why these kind of phishing attacks are increasing is widespread use of internet and other online activities, so which provides an ample opportunity for the attackers to target individual and other organizations. And moreover, the rapid advancement of technology and the other availability of tools and services that make it easier for phishers to launch this kind of phishing attacks. So earlier, phishing was happened through only fraudulent emails, but now it's becoming more organized way in 21st century. Like they used to fish through like direct calls or messages. So nowadays everybody of us have the preconceived notions that this particular crime is not going to happen to me, or the scammer is not going to target me as I'm a normal layman. No, it is actually a wrong notion, because uh, everybody, because the scammer actually they used to craft millions of mail and they will send it randomly to whoever is catching the snatch baits. They will get into a trouble. So whenever you are surfing on the online, you have to be more careful. Whatever you are doing in the online, you have to be more careful. Otherwise, what will happen is the attacker will be more smarter than you. So they will easily trick you to get into this kind of scams. So there are different kinds of phishing attacks. The first one is clone phishing. So what is clone phishing? In this kind of phishing, the phishers actually used to create clone by copying the original content of the message. Then they will make it, they will make slight changes on that message. Like they may change the content of the message, or they may change the address. They will spoof the email address of that particular email. Then they will send this email as if it is a resend of the original email. So the victims may the victims doesn't seem any fishy on this kind of email. So when you are receiving this kind of emails, you have to double check with the content and email address of the particular messages. So and what they are doing is, in clone phishers used to craft millions of emails and they will send it to the potential victims randomly. So whoever is catching the emails, they will get into a trap. So how do you understand? How do you know what will happen if you respond to this kind of emails? So if that particular email is containing a malicious program, they will, if it is a fake emails, definitely they will attach them links or attachment. In that link might be injected with some kind of malicious programs. So whenever you click on that malicious program, it will automatically download to your system, and then you are actually indirectly giving the permission to the cyber attackers to operate your computer without your knowledge or consent. So whenever you are clicking on that link, you have to be more careful. So how will you identify this kind of fake emails? First of all, you have to check the email address of that particular email. So if it is a fake email, that particular email address would be misspelled. There will or else it might be from a personal email IDs like Gmail or a Hotmail. So you have to check that parameter. The second one is, you have to check the salutation. If it is a clone phishing type of, then they will use a general salutation. They won't know your name, so they will salute like dear customer, or they will know you, they will mention like instead of your name. So you have to check that. The third one is you have to check the content of the particular email. Though if it is a fake email, they will they will create some urgency to respond to that particular email. So if it is a legitimate email, the organizations won't ask you to respond quickly. They will give you definitely they will give you time to respond to that particular email. So what you have to do, if suppose that particular email is create some urgency to respond, then there will be a, most probably it will be a fake email. Then the fourth one is you have to check the link of that particular email. If you hover over that particular link, then it will show you the exact location of that particular website. So then you can easily identify whether it is fake or not. So this is some of the parameters which you can check whether it is a fishy or not. So next one is spear phishing. Spear phishing. In this kind of phishing, the phishers normally target a specific group of people or an individual instead of drafting thousands of mails and sending it randomly to them. So what they will do is they will first target an individual, then they will follow you and they will try to gather maximum of information through your Instagrams or your Facebook or any other social media accounts. Then they will create a mail according to that information, and they will then they will send it you, so that the victims may think that they will think that it is a legitimate email. So you have to know that whether it is from your friend or it is from your HR. You have to think that that doesn't mean that it is absolutely from that particular person. It might be a fake email. So you have to check before that. If you suppose, as I said before, if you click on that link which is provided in that mail, it will directly, if that particular link is injected with the malicious code, then that code will automatically install to your system, and the the attacker can remotely access your system without your consent or knowledge. So how do you understand this kind of email? Like I said, you have to check the email address, then you have to check the salutation. Here they will mention your name, because they are targeting you, so they will mention your name. So so that is not a parameter to identify the email. So otherwise you have to check the content should, there should be some grammatical mistake, or some words should be misspelled, or else they will try to create some urgency to respond. So you have to check this kind of parameters before responding this kind of unknown emails. So next one is phishing. Phishing is actually they use to fish through phone calls. They may call you, ask if it is from banks or any other trusted institutes. Then they will pretend to be as if they are a bank officials or executive, and they will try to convince you to share your confidential informations like your passwords, your OTP, or your username. So when suppose they are asking your login credential or your sensitive information, you have to ask yourself that why do I need to share my personal information to the unknown persons? Why can't and you have to ask them that who are you to ask me this kind of question? Who are you to ask me my personal question? And if you are not suspicious about particular call, what you have to do is, rather than just responding to this kind of calls directly, you have to tell them that, okay, let me check with my bank directly and then I will get back to you. This would be your response, rather than just just following their instructions. Next one is smishing. Smishing is actually, it's a, the fishers used to um, uh, fish through direct messages also. They will send you some fake messages through phone. So recently I read one news that an older lady receives a message as if it is from KCP. So the message was like, the lady was not, she didn't uh, if she didn't pay the electricity bill, they will cut her electricity soon. So for more information, please call to below number. So what she does was, she called to that number. The person who took the phone pretended to be as a KCB officer, and she followed all is he that person told her that you have to download particular app and you have to just credit 1 rupees. You don't need to worry, we will take care of that, like he said. So what the lady does was, she just followed what all things he instructed. So what happened is, after some point of time, again she received a message from the bank that her so and so rupees has been debited from her account. So then only she realized it was a fake message. So whenever you are getting a free vouchers through messages or any other price worth through messages, you have to be suspicious whether this is actually this message is pertinent to me or not. Is it relevant to me or not? Likewise, you have to ask yourself best before responding to this kind of messages. Next one is farming. Farming is actually an advanced version of phishing. So in phishing, normally the fishers used to steal your personal information through, uh, phone direct calls or maybe messages. But in farming, they will redirect you to a fake website, even if you type a right URL of that particular website. So how it happened? Because it is happened through two ways. The first one is malware based farming, and second one is DNS based farming. The malware based farming is, first they will send you a malicious codes in mail, which install directly to your system. Then this malicious code will corrupt your host file. Then this corrupted host file then uh, redirect you to the legitimate account, even if you type a correct URL of that particular website. So it is very difficult for you to identify whether it is a right or wrong website. So what you have to do is, whenever you are into a particular website, you have to check uh, whether HTTPS is there or not. If HTTPS is there, that particular website is encrypted. It is very difficult for the attacker to modify that particular website. If HTTPS is not there, that means that particular website is not encrypted. Anybody can decrypt that particular website. So then second thing you have to check is domain name of that particular website. If that particular website is fake, that domain name is misspelled. They can't create the same domain name of the original website, because if it is because that but original domain name is already registered. So it is very difficult. The attacker or the fishers can't register with the same email ID with the same spelling. So what they will do is, they will change the spelling of that domain name. So likewise, you can check. So these are some parameters you can check. The second one is DNS based farming. This is very difficult to identify, because and moreover, um, the attacker requires to do some background or coding to execute this kind of attacks, because this kind of the server is actually sit in the network of the particular organization. It is very difficult to attack that particular server. So what they have to do is, they will first poison the DNS server by injecting the fake DNS entry, so that whenever you type on the right URL, the poisoned DNS server will automatically redirect you to the fake website, even if you type a correct URL. How? Because the DNS servers are responsibility to direct your website request to the right IP address. So if it is poisoned, when it become poison, it will automatically redirect you to the fake IP address. So this is how it is happening. So what you have to do is, it is very difficult for you to understand whether it is the DNS server is poisoned or not. That is not in your hand. What you can do is, whenever you are doing a particular online banking, or when you are, suppose you are trying to download something from a particular website, you have to check the domain name of that particular website, and also you have to check whether HTTPS is there or not. This thing, two things you have to first check, then only you have to start with your transaction. So this is how farming works. Then is scareware. Scareware is actually, when we are on online, we used to get some kind of alert or pop-up message containing, like you have to purchase, fake antivirus software, otherwise, you will get affected into a attack. So likewise, they will send you a pop-up message or alert. So whenever you get this kind of alert or pop-up message, you have to avoid, because when you, suppose if you click on that kind of pop-up message, what will happen is, it will automatically, like I said, it will automatically install to your system, and they can remotely access your system without your knowledge or consent. So if suppose, for example, if suppose that suppose the software like viruses like keylogger has been download your computer, what will happen is, that particular keylogger software can save all your data which you are entering through your keystrokes. Whatever you are entering through keystroke can save through this software. Then the attacker can retrieve whatever you save through this software also. So what will happen is, definitely you will enter your passwords and username through keystrokes only, right? So the attacker can easily steal all your login credentials, and then they can do financial frauds easily. So whenever you are clicking this kind of pop-up ads, you have to be more careful. The last one is typoscotics. Typoscoting involves, they used to register fake or misspelled version of popular websites to trick victims into visit their sites and providing sensitive information, or download malware. So if you try to download any attachment or any kind of files from that particular website, what will happen is, that viruses, the injected software, malicious software, will automatically download to your system, and it will start to work, as I said. So this is all about the phishing technique. So whenever you click on particular link, or whenever you are hovering over a website, you have to think that you have to check whether that particular website is fake or not. How you can check? You have to check the domain name of that particular website, and also you can check whether HTTPS is there or not. The second thing, how to identify a fake email. You can check the email address. You can check the content of that email, whether there is any grammatical mistake is there or not, or you can check the misspelled word also, you can check. Likewise, you have to check before click, or before going through this kind of particular email or website. If you see any kind of if you see many suspicious about that particular email or website, you have to be more careful. It is very important to be more careful and avoid giving out your sensitive information to unknown sources. So when you are when actually when the attacker, the scammer is becoming more smarter, it is your duty to be more smarter than them. So that is all about phishing. So
talk that you have just delivered, I'm quite sure our viewers would be beneficial from this. And the topic that you have just covered is about phishing and what are the classification of phishing. And dear learners and viewers, if you have any query regarding phishing and you want to know more about that particular thing and how you can prevent yourself and how you can save your data online, you can just call us on our telephone number with all your queries. You have to call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 Either you can email us. Our email address is cybersafety@ciit.nic.in. And if you have joined us through our live streaming, that means you are on our NCRT official YouTube channel. You have to go to the live chat box and you have to drop your comment out there. And our expert will be happy to answer all your queries. We'll be more than happy to answer all your queries, and we do appreciate your efforts. We want you to participate in this live phone-in session, as this is our special session just only for you. So, Sir Harish, sir, now we'll move forward. And what you have for our viewers, sir?
Yeah, so let me explain about how can we able to detect and even avoid this phishing strategies.
Right.
So that was a clear explanation from Neena ma'am, like what are all the categories of phishings are available in the current societies. So I'm just going through, take a walkthrough about what are all the techniques we can use to avoid or the detection of this phishing technically. So first we have to be sure that is it necessary for us to go through all these contents first, or why do we need it? Because we are talking about the 2022 and a complete society which is aware of the cybersecurity. And here are some of the news, like evident that India is going through the third most targeted country by phishing campaigns. So of course we have to go through all these awareness programs based on the phishing or any kind of cyber attacks, including the techniques and how to detect it. So yeah. Right. So we have to deal about which phase we are going to identify it. Is it going to be a technical phase, or is it going to be a complete human error kind of based? Right. So here we are dealing with a complete two different concepts. One side we are going to deal with, is it going to be a technical concepts which is going to stop the phishing, or is it going to be the human errors or some kind of lack of awarenesses which are going to stopping it. So as we see in the screen, like there are some technologies which are available to stop it or detect it, to prevent it, some antivirus firewalls, or regularly updating it, or by using some of the higher advanced sandboxing techniques. On the other side, we have to also deal with human-based errors, which is a lack of awarenesses or ignorance or a carelessness, or not up to the updated versions of the current cyber world. So there is actually a complete debate about this, whether who is responsible for the cyber attacks. But the exact phase which we are going to see today is like what all the techniques a human can use to avoid getting into attacks, because we follow a strategy called prevention is better than cure in cybersecurity. Rather than getting into a cyber attack and then resolving it, it's better not to get into one. Right. So here are some of the practical examples of how an phishing mail looks like, or what are all the items needs to raise a red flag to us, whether that is a phishing or not. So let's assume that we have received a mail. Of course, everyone is receiving, using a Gmail or any kind of email services. So first, one of the important parameters which we have to look into it, like from. So in terms of email phishing, the sender mail ID will looks legitimate, but there will be some of the grammatical mistakes, or there can be some of the similar name of the organization will be given, something like that. For example, instead of GOOGLE, there will be G00GLE. As a normal people, like, we won't sometimes notice it. So these all are red flags which will needs to be raised to make sure the phishing is being detected on the human basis. And the date, like whether the mail has been sent like on an unusual time, and the subject, attachments are some of the main parameters. Like, we have to make sure like we are not downloading any of the attachment unless the mail is legitimate from, and some of the hyperlinks. So these are all some of the red flags needs to be taken care to avoid phishing from a human point of view. And also, let's talk about the links, because most of the phishing is been happening via link. Irrespective of the type of phishing, it can be a smishing or a wishing or a spear phishing, anything it can be. It all leads to a stage where a user clicks something and that leads to a cyber attack. So we have to be little more aware that how a normal link and a suspicious link looks like. So as we are seeing in this example, there is something called www.linkedin.com. So if we are casually reading it, we will finish it, consider it like a LinkedIn. But if we see it clearly, the second alphabet has been changed. So this is how a common attacker or a person who wants to steal the personal information will do a kind of spoofing like. So similarly, URL can be the most affected parameter in terms of a phishing. So we have to be making sure that what kind of website we are redirected to. Even before clicking, we have to make sure what link we are even clicking to. And there are different types of links, even we can categorize it into. So the URL domain name encoding. Sometimes we may be redirected to a website. If we check the URL browser site, it will be mentioned like some kind of numbers and hashes and the percentages. So that should actually trigger a red flag if you are seeing it in a website, because that is redirecting you to somewhere which is not intentional. And the shorten URLs. If you are going through a shorten URLs anywhere, we have to make sure which URLs is in the behind of it. So the shorten URL is nothing but if a normal website is or any kind of a link is having a very huge URL, that will be replaced by a shorten URL in this case. So the user doesn't know that which URL is in the background actually playing the real role. So similarly, these are all some URL based red flags needs to be raised if we are encountering any of these things. Okay, so these are all some of the basic methods how we can able to detect the phishing. But then let's say that we have detected it as a normal person or a technical person, but what to do after that? So let's say in terms of an organization or an universities or a school or an environment where a complete organized systems and the technology is available, we are supposed to create a AUP, which is acceptable use policy. So under this policy, every employees are mandated to read, acknowledge and go through it. So exactly in this policy, it will be written what is phishing or similar kind of cyber attacks and how to mitigate it, or even how to report it and how to detect it. So these three stages will be mentioned in this kind of a policies. So it's a responsibility of that organization's management to make sure all the employees who are already working on who are yet to come should read it completely and go through this program and then sign it. So by using these kind of acceptable use policies, we can able to create an awareness to the individuals almost encountering everyone in this country or the world. We can give the proper awareness to them. So this is one method of influencing them what to do after they are detecting the phishing. And some of the specific points which needs to be taught to them, irrespective of they are an employee or a student or a normal person who is from a non-technical background. A specific recognition of a great threat, that of how a phishing will impact an environment. This information and this impact damage should be informed to that individual. And the definitions, they have to clearly identify what does this particular attack means or this flow means. And we have to make sure throwing some of the common phishing examples to them so that they can able to relate it when something similar is happening to them also. And some of the mitigation behaviors which we will see now. Right. So after analyzing a lot of references, like I have put it together into 6 points, like how to avoid phishing in terms of social medias. Because like all we have know, like currently the younger generations and also the adults, irrespective of what background they are falling into the social medias, and that plays a major role in terms of this phishing attacks.
So here, let me tell you that we are in the last quarter of the hour, sir. We are left
Yeah.
with 14 more minutes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So these are some of the points which we have to follow. Something is like, do not click on any of the posts which we are not familiar with, unless making sure that that is a link which you are supposed to click. And there are some of the couple of points like before doing anything on the social media regarding unknown links, we have to think twice before it. And if you are getting any message from any unknown accounts, make sure whether that account is a legitimate, or if an account is impersonating someone or in some organization. For example, I am from your company, you can pay me this amount of money and something like that. So make sure that the particular person has been contacting you. You can call them back or text them back and make sure that they are asking all these things. So these are all some of the overall view about how to avoid social media's phishing. And finally, I have put together some of the 8 ways to generally avoid the phishing. So also I have categorized how it can be a human-based avoiding and a technology-based avoidance. So in terms of technology-based, it's like verifying the website security, as ma'am mentioned already, and using a proper antivirus, firewalls for the proper network or a system can do better. But in terms of human awareness, we have to be digitally conscious. Something like never give our personal identity to anyone, something like checking your online accounts regularly, and keep informed about the phishing techniques, what are the latest techniques which are being cyber attackers using for detecting it or to perform attack. And importantly, from the technology side, installing an anti-phishing toolbar, something like that. And this is some of the examples like how an phishing attack has been happened for the past couple of years. So as you can see here, like Amazon, Twitter-based mails, Google Pay mails, all these things are some of the commonly used platforms by all the users, so that they will fall for this trap by clicking some of the links or downloading some of the contents from the mail. So since after this COVID-19 has been happened, the phishing attacks plays a very major role. And these are some of the 10 general subject contents which are being detected in terms of phishing attack. So the users are started getting mail like COVID-19 remote work policy update. So all these categories actually creates a curiosity among an individual to click that particular link or to download some contents from that mail. So this curiosity is something what the attacker is expecting for. So once the awareness has been properly provided to an individual, then this particular curiosity can be avoided for these kind of illegitimate emails. So this is some of the statistics which the internet is throwing to us. Like as we can see, the majority of the phishing attack has been happened via LinkedIn. Why? Because majority of the people are using the LinkedIn for identifying the jobs for their careers, and that actually plays a very important role in their life. So whatever the information has been provided by the user, they just follow it. So this is like awareness for us. We have to be careful on the social medias, especially on any kind of internet-based activities. And okay, let's assume that we have detected it and we have identified it. What to do next? How to report a phishing email or any kind of phishing attack? So here is an example which I have taken from research activity. So one is based on the Gmail. If we are getting any kind of an email which is not expected, or it can be of something malicious, or which feels like something not good with all this phishing based parameters, every vendor is having their own option to report the phishing. So in terms of a Gmail, we have to just go to the settings. There we have options like report the phishing. And similarly on the Microsoft Office 365 mail, we have the same option here for report phishing. So this is vendor-based reporting the phishing process. Similarly, you have for the SMSs also. For any kind of mobiles, if you are getting a lot of spam messages or something, there is an option to report phishing. So this is how we report a phishing emails or any kind of phishing links, because silence actually increases the risks in terms of a cyber world. So we have to avoid it. Like let's assume that we have unknowingly clicked the link and downloaded something, but I'm afraid to go to an administrator and say that I have did so and so. Actually, that increases the attack vector in the complete organization. So silence should be avoided in terms of reporting. And as per the Indian Ministry of Home Affairs is also providing a separate column or an option for reporting to the email phishing in case of any cyber attacks happen. If something has been stolen or you have lost some money, so we can go to that cybercrime.gov.in, and there is a separate option for reporting for email phishing. So if you have lost anything due to the phishing attack, here we can able to report it officially, and the respective actions will be also taken by the government. So this is how we have to technically detect and also respond and report a phishing attack if we are facing any. So this is going to be our cyber mantras, which we used to say, the portal where we have to report for cyber crimes, and the number where we have to contact for the cyber crimes. And the last link is for direct link, which take us to the reporting portal of this phishing attacks. So yeah, this is from my side regarding the detection and reporting of the phishing attacks.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so very much for all these important information. And as you have just said that we are not supposed to share our personal information, but there are some websites and sites where we have to enter our personal details. So in that case, what we are supposed to do? We have to share our details, like?
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we have to be, as I mentioned, the term digitally conscious comes into play. So we have to be conscious little more that where we are entering the detail.
But so don't you think so it's a complex technique? I mean, how a layman can know all the instructions and guidelines, sir?
Exactly. So that is what these sessions are all about also. So let's say a layman is getting an option like creating an account for some of the regular usage, like a Google or a Gmail, which is one of the mandatory item nowadays. So for a normal person, we can't expect they to aware of all this kind of techniques, like going through and link or all this technical options. So one of the simplest guidelines are, there are some 4 to 5 guidelines available provided by the cybercrime website itself. So one will be like, we have to check whether that particular website is secured or not. As the ma'am suggests, it should be like with the HTTPS, which means it will be indicating in the green in the browser option in the top. So such way we have a simpler technique which even a non-technical person can follow for understanding whether whatever the website they are uploading their information is legitimate or not. And I would suggest before doing it, for a few times they can get an exposure from the person from their own families. So I would promote to say this, like whoever the students or then professionals who are going through all this awareness, they have to share this with their family members who are not even aware of it. So that's how we make a cyber safe society. So it's a collateral process.
Okay, and let's come to our next expert, Neena ma'am. I just wanted to know about the phishing more, like how we can identify a phishing website, or how we can figure out it's a genuine mail or it's a fake mail, ma'am.
Yeah, like Harisha said, we always have to check, when you are suppose if you want to, especially if you want to do some online transactions or something like that, you always have to check, as a normal person, you have to check the domain name of that particular website, and also you have to check whether the HTTPS is there or not. That's the two things you can check. And moreover, you have to be always, you have to be alert, you have to know more about this kind of crimes, now how it is happening and why these crimes are getting increased. You have to be more alert about this kind of, then you can avoid this kind of attacks. If suppose if you are not connected to online, if you suppose if as a person, if you are not connected to online, is it possible for the attacker to attack you? No, right? The same way, whenever you are online, you have to be more alert rather than just going to be directly to be a victim. So this is how we can avoid this kind of crimes.
As a normal person, what all measures have to take to stay away from the phishing attack, ma'am?
Yeah, first of all, you have, like I said, first of all, you have to be, you have to, you have to know more about what is phishing, and how it is happening, and what are the, what are the parameters which you can identify whether it is fake or not. Like I said, if it is a fake email, you have to check the email address of that particular email, or you have to check the content particular email, you have to check the link. These are the some of the parameters which we can, cross check with this kind of email, so that you will, you can stay safe on the online.
So Harish sir, please let us know more about the antivirus. Is that enough?
Yeah. So there is actually a myth going on with the non-technical people or who didn't understand the technology well. Just by installing an antivirus, like everything is safe on their system.
Right.
I mean, the people won't be even worried about it, like whether that antivirus is having the subscription yet or not. According to them, all this knows is like antivirus has been installed in my system, so I'm safe on the online world. But on the current advancement in the cybersecurity, on also on the cyber attacks, just by installing the antivirus is not at all sufficient. As I said earlier, so there are two phases how we can see this cyber attacks. One is a technical phase, how it has been detected. On the other side is how humans are responding for the cyber-based activities. So for the technical side, antivirus will do a great job. That's why it is actually created for. So it will be perfectly fine. But let's assume that whatever the antivirus I have, but whatever the links even I'm getting in my mails or something, if I keep on clicking on it, the antivirus is not going to help me for a long time, because there may be something which is actually evading the antivirus also. So I would suggest that as like a prevention of a technique, rather than getting into a problem and finding for a cure for it, we have to be more aware, and that is why these awareness programs is for, and not to get into that links or these kind of mails. So this I would like to complete it with a small comparison. So let's assume that in a real physical world, we are like making our taking our children to a park, and we won't definitely allow our children to talk to a stranger randomly. We will be instructing their children to be that don't talk to the strangers unless they are like known to them well somehow before. But on the online world, we are not following that. Once if we started following it, let's assume, are we monitoring, or we can ask this to ourselves, that are we avoiding or making the precautions when we are talking with the strangers, or if any mail or message come from the strangers? Why can't we just be the same, follow the same consciousness on both the physical world and also in the online world? So by following this, we can able to tackle both the human-based errors and also the technical-based stuffs.
Exactly. Thank you so very much, sir. As we are running very short of time, we have to wind up this session here only. But thank you so very much, Neena ma'am and Harish sir, for being with us. It's our pleasure to have you both in our session. Thank you so very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And dear learners and viewers, it's time for me to tell you more about our quiz that we are conducting till 19th of Jan 2023. What you have to do is you just have to go to the Google and you have to type CIET, and then you will land up on our web page, that is CIET itself. And here, as you can see, there are lots of information toolbar, and you have to go to the events, then you have to go to the workshop and training page, and you can, as you can see, there is a page current activity. There is a program title Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas series theme cyber threats. You have to click on that link, and as you can see, the theme of the December is cyber threats, and you will get to know more about all the things that we are doing and how you can participate and who can participate. You can see students, teachers, teacher educators, parents, anyone can participate in this particular quiz. And as you can see, there is a program schedule as well. If you have missed our session, you can go to that link specifically and you can see all of them. And this is a QR code that you have to scan, or either you can register yourself by clicking on that particular link, and then you will get to know about all the details and all the eligibility and the requirement what there is. And dear learners and viewers, if you have any query regarding that, if you are facing any problem, you can mail us with all your queries. You can reach us at our email address, that is cybersafety@ciat.nic.in. This is the web page, and there is a registration link, and this is a QR code that you need to scan, or either you can click on this particular link and you can participate in our quiz. And till 19th of January 2023, you can send all your queries, entries, and you can send your queries to our email address. And it's time for me to wrap up this session, but you stay tuned to PM eVidya channels and NCERT official YouTube channel for more informative program. Renu Bhatt is taking your leave. Namaskar.